Hey, welcome back everyone to Permission to Shine, your podcast dedicated to highlighting the most humble, inspiring stories that I know you will love. I'm your host, Andrew Nemani. I get to sit down with Brandon Marcel. Who is Brandon? Brandon is the right-hand man to the Grammy-winning artist Leon Bridges. Many of us have heard of Leon Bridges. Over 10 million people are listening to Leon a month on Spotify alone. Pretty crazy numbers. And these two have been touring the world since 2018. They're brothers, as you'll hear Brandon talk about in life. And I think you'll be surprised, right? With the fame and with touring the world comes a lot of pros and cons. And so I'm excited for Brandon to discuss that with you all. I think you'll enjoy it. As always, please let me know what you think. Enjoy this conversation, and I will see you soon. Brandon Marcel, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, bro.
How's it feel to be on Permission to Shine?
Man, I'm gonna take the permission to shine. Nah, this is really cool, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it. I'm curious, do you remember the first time you thought about being a musician?
No, I don't. Not at all, but it had to be maybe some point just within like doing poetry and writing and, maybe my father played a part in inspiring that. But yeah, just falling in love with music, somewhere around there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when that love started?
Yeah, probably like 19 or 18, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That I kind of figured out like, oh, I really like this thing, and I want to explore it more.
Good for you, man. You've done well at it so far.
Man, I'm being super, super blessed, like it still amazes me, some of the things that I've been able to experience, I'm really grateful for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy.
You said poetry.
Yeah.
You're a deep man.
Yeah, for sure. I am. Yeah. I've always been, I think that kind of started just like being shy or being quiet and trying to find a way to express yourself and maybe not having the courage at the moment in time to like say what I wanted to say. So I'd always write it, And I think I have a lot to say, but I think it's important what you do say. So I think it's great that I chose that route of like, I'm going to just write, and express myself in that fashion, which helps me. It's like a filter before I do express thought,
Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah.
How old do you think you were when you started writing poetry?
Man, it had to be around like 13.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like moving to Texas and
From where?
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, so moving to Texas, man, it was just a lot, and so I think I just, kind of being in school, you're introduced to a notebook, and I think I just took that from like writing notes to also just writing, period, And so always expressing myself, and writing and telling stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it started.
So I feel like a lot of us have journals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, was that just like a journal to you, or were you actually writing and then like sharing that with the world?
Oh, no. It was definitely not to be shared at all. Yeah. A journal,
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I've always loved like the imagination and story has always been like really cool. Just thinking, in movies, I love movies, so
Right.
like I've always had a passion for that. Like, I'm just going to write a story about some random character who does this, and that's just cool to me.
Yeah. I think stories are fascinating.
Yeah.
Bro, like coming from my world, I'm not like in the creative world as much as you are. I'm in the business world. And stories are so important even in the business world, right?
Yeah.
Being able to lead teams and motivate people and sell a value proposition. And so I'm always trying to like figure out how I can best tell a story.
Right.
And I'm not there yet, man. Like I'm still working on that craft.
Me too.
And like, what do you think is the key to a good story?
Yeah. The key to a good story, interesting character, and like that antagonist, protagonist, and kind of like the language that you use too. Like I really love like language and how somebody tells it. I really don't think I'm the best storyteller. If I was trying to tell a story to some of my friends, and they're like, oh, tell them what happened last night. I'm like, no, you tell them because you tell it better,
Yeah.
But I love people who have that gift, and I'm working on that gift still,
Right.
But like I think just the language you use and like the timing too, you know, really important telling a good story.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I think it's so interesting that like that journal, right? Like when I said journal, you were like, no, like that was for me.
Yeah.
But now here you are like putting out music into the world, right? Songs that you've created, that you've written, that you felt from your heart.
Right.
To me, that's your journal, right? Like that's a very vulnerable thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It's a very challenging thing, and that's the hardest part about maybe for me being an artist is like having the courage to share, you know, because like we're saying, you know, it wasn't meant for that. It wasn't always meant for that. It was meant for me to express myself and to get thought out of my head, and you know what I mean? Just kind of questioning myself. But yeah, growing into that space where like you have that passion that draws you to a stage, or that passion that draws you to like share a song, that's when it gets really like, okay, cool, I'm facing a fear, you know? So like, yeah, putting out music, man, is like still one of those things, or just being on a stage in general is still one of those things that's like, oh my goodness, like you gotta go do this again, you know? Or,
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a song that you've written and then like once you hear it or think about it, you're like, man, that's too vulnerable. Like I can't put that out there. Like that would expose too much of me.
For sure, yeah. There's a lot of music. I know a lot of my cousin and other people will be laughing at me, but there's a lot of music I haven't released just for the sake of like perfectionism, or is that me, or is that just me at a point in time? You know what I mean? That whole thing.
Our inner voice, man.
Yeah,
it's so loud.
It does.
It's so critical.
It does, yeah. But I'm doing a better job at like kind of letting go of what are people gonna think, and more so like Brandon is just about expressing yourself.
Yeah,
you know, and just living in that space. You know,
right.
Try to do it.
It's so crazy, man, how you can have doubts even though like you have performed on like some of the highest levels around the world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, I feel like God has a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, right.
Like that's what I mean. I think it's a really, I try to tell myself often as I can remember, like, man, I'm proud of you, you know, because I think people see you up there and they don't necessarily know what it takes to get you up there.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
As far as myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I had to learn. Like, you grow up thinking that, oh, these people in those spaces are like, it's natural for them, or it doesn't come with a challenge. But like being in that space is like, I am the person that somebody else is looking at thinking potentially the same thing that I thought, you know? And like, so being able to experience it is like, okay, this is what it feels like. You might not necessarily be confident all the time, you know, but it's more so about courage. You know, maybe confidence is not, you know, that feeling of like, oh, I got this. Maybe confidence is like, I'm going to do this regardless of the outcome because this is what I want for me, you know? Yeah. So like, yeah, figuring out what that really means, you know?
Right.
That's what I'm going to do.
Out of all of it, what do you feel like you're most proud of?
Like out of the touring?
Yeah, like out of all the music stuff. We could talk about the touring, whether it's like one night or one milestone. Like what comes to mind?
It's a number of things. Still getting on stage, you know, it's still one of those things that like I've gotten more comfortable with, but like getting up there, man, it's like, all right, cool. You're gonna go do this, you know?
Yeah.
Like I recently, I went skydiving for the first time.
Oh, congrats. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah. It's a thrill.
Yeah. How many times?
I've gone once.
Okay.
I would love to go again.
Yeah. So I went, and like at no point in time was I nervous. You know,
no
like
way.
At no point in time.
Like when they rip the door open on the plane,
yeah,
and you're 10 or 14,000 feet in the
14,
air,
yeah,
you were not nervous.
No, I wasn't.
Wow.
You know, like it's crazy how, you know, we all have our specific categories where we'll feel those nerves, and other spaces we won't, you know. And so for me, that was super easy. But like, it's still this aspect of like getting on stage that's like, it'll rile me up a little bit, you know. And some nights are different than others. I'm not trying to say it's like how it used to be when I first started doing it, but I'll still get like, okay, this is really cool that you're still doing this, and like I'm not gonna do it.
Right. Yeah.
Because, you know, I wasn't like raised doing it. You know, it was kind of like, I'm gonna put myself in this space because I want to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you start touring for the first time?
Yeah, that was 2018.
And that was with whom?
Leon Bridges.
Leon Bridges, your man.
Yeah, that's one dog.
Shout out to Leon, man.
Yeah, that's the boy.
Yep. He's touched a lot of lives, man.
He has, man.
Myself included, man. Like, I remember going through a dark period of my life, and his Coming Home album just, like, kept me so grounded and humble. And, like, even now when I feel like I'm getting off track, I go back to that album.
Yeah.
And the power of it is insane.
It is, man. It is, yeah. Again, man, I'm super blessed. You know, everything has been really organic and has flowed. And I think for him to be like a brother, he is a brother.
Yeah, right.
And also, like,
I get that.
You know, we use that term so loosely, man, but genuinely, man, he's a brother, you know, and a best friend, and somebody who's given me opportunity that, you know, I never thought I would be a backing vocalist at any point in time, you know. But, like, he's you know, saw something in me and, like, man, I want you to, you know, extend this opportunity if you want to do it. So it's been, like, a great ride, you know.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys meet?
Yeah. There's this place, it used to be this spot, you know, at Fort Worth.
Where you live?
Yeah, where I live. It's called, I forget the name of it, but it's off of Lipscomb.
Hey, it's not important. Is this why you and Leon started the kindred spirit in our relationship?
Yeah. It was cool, though. So I was kind of still doing my own thing, and he was doing his own thing, and it was kind of before any of that took place as far as, like, his album. But I was performing, he was like, man, I'm looking for backing vocalists for this album that I'm, you know, going to be working on. Like, would you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, cool, you know. But I didn't know him at all, you know. It was just, I've always just loved music and always willing to explore what something could be, just willing to show up, you know. And so I just, showed up at shipping and receiving, and we grew a friendship, man, and it just really, like, has been dope, you know.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And so you guys have been touring together since 2018, you said.
Yeah.
How many concerts do you think you've done?
I have no clue.
No idea.
No. I let go of, like, time and place because it's too much for me to, like, try to hold on to, you know?
Yeah.
So I just let it go and just experience. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over 100.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that means
You guys tour, like, constantly, right? You're going from, like, Australia to Brazil, massive tours to the States, you know?
Yeah.
I got to sit on a couple in Colorado.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's been crazy, man. It's, festivals and private shows and living room shows and...
Who's it? Can you say who the coolest private show that you guys have done is?
It's funny because some people be like, you know, what is the coolest place, or, like, what's one place that you have loved to perform at? And it's a reflection of me, but, like, the place that I love is, like, when I was in North Carolina and my dad was there, my aunt was there, and I haven't seen him in a long time, you know. That was special. You know, so, like, the coolest private show we've probably done is probably in some living room, you know, just like, yeah, you know, which is, you're really impacting people, and, like, everybody's so thankful, you know.
Yep.
It's cool.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
The living room shows are always the best.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to see I'm, like, getting to this point where it's, like, big shows. I hate that I'm, like, saying this, but, like, don't excite me that much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the intimacy of music.
Yeah.
Right? That's so special.
It is.
Like, I just want to see Garrett and Luke and all these guys, like, performing up in the living room.
Yeah, man.
You know, or Belly Up. Like,
yeah.
You perform at Belly Up.
Yeah, that place. Yeah, and it's cool, too, because the closer the audience is, which is sometimes more nervous, but, like...
Oh, interesting.
When they get, like... I love a party feeling. You know, so, like, at Belly Up, man, it was like, you know, we're on stage and the audience is, like, right there, and you can feel the energy, you know, and, like, that is, like, okay, it goes from, like, we're performing to, like, we're all enjoying this, you know, which is, like, the greatest feeling. It's like, okay, we're all just having a great time.
Yeah. If you could choose between Belly Up, which is, like, I don't know how many people, it's
not more than 1,000.
Yeah, 500, right? Like, I could touch Leon's knee that night. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. And then the biggest you've performed at is?
Hollywood Bowl, maybe, or we did Moody and Austin.
So that, like, 15,000?
Probably 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of eyes, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All on you guys.
Yeah, crazy.
Which one would you go with? You going with Belly Up, or are you going, like, Hollywood Bowl?
I'll take them both.
My man. Take them both.
Got to.
Not or.
No. I need it all.
And.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's both incredible experiences,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love them both.
So Leon's fame is like kind of been crazy lately, right? It started to take off in a way, I feel like.
Yeah. That arena tour, I think has been really dope and opened a lot of doors, and that Gold Digger Sound album opened a lot of doors. I mean, he has some amazing music,
Yeah.
just that consistency with great songs and what it is that he represents. I think people go to him for a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, and he's great at what he does.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Has any of that like changed the dynamic of everything, or does it feel the same, or do you kind of feel the evolution of it all?
Within his career?
Yeah, like just within the dynamic of your guys' whole crew.
Yeah, man, it has changed things, yeah, because it's cool. I remember certain eras, and there's definitely been, growth, and like we as people grow and change, and that's it can be a challenging aspect because there's certain things that I don't maybe want for me, you know what I mean, or and certain things that maybe he doesn't want that I'm trying to do, and and I think that as you grow and you mature and you understand those concepts, you learn and become comfortable with like, okay, there's places my friend is going to go that I'm not going to go. And that's cool. That doesn't mean that that person's not my friend or like any bad blood. It's just like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He enjoys, he has another gear that I don't have, like he can get off stage and he's going to go out, but for me, I'm like, I might get off stage and I might go out, but more than likely, like Marcel's going to go chill in his room, and I'm going to listen to music, And I think sometimes, like, when you're really, really close friends, it's like you want your homie to be there within everything that you do. But like I said, like, I think maturity and things that we've had to experience is like just being at peace with that. That doesn't mean that, like, there's a problem. It just means, oh, that's Brandon, and just allowing each other to be who we are genuinely, And that's what I love about the growth of maybe, him as an artist and what that experience has brought to us, It's been really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, man.
What kind of feeling do you get when you're on the road touring? Are you getting energy from all of that, or are you kind of getting exhausted? You mentioned being, shy back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of stimulus, and I'm sure you got a lot of people pulling at you. I'm sure you got a lot of ladies who are, trying to find where the crew is after the show. I know how that goes,
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious kind of what feeling and emotions you experience through that.
Yeah, I'm definitely like one of those introverted extroverts. Like, I love a challenge, so, kind of how I was sharing, like, I don't want a boring life, you know what I mean? Like, being uncomfortable is really cool, and uncertainty is really cool. Facing your fear is really cool, even though, like, it's easier not to, maybe, and it's more comfortable and you feel safe. But being on tour, being around people, I am like, I spend a lot of time by myself, So putting myself in that space is like, it's a cool exercise, and it's a cool, like, I'm going to grow, and then you develop these relationships, which are just, I'll cherish those for the rest of my life. People that I've been able to meet and get close to because of what tour and being on a bus brings, But it's definitely, and yeah, I love connection too, man. I love being able to look into the audience and sometimes like just seeing somebody have a great time. It's just like, okay, cool. I'm focusing on them, and that fuels you, it gives you a sense of like, you feel appreciated, It's not just like a one show to the next. It's like, you're really impacting people, you don't know what they may be going through, which is great. Or like even challenging shows where you like, man, is the audience feeling us, But I can look next, to my left or my right, and I might see, like Norrell or my homie Elliot.
Norell's your guys' new band member?
Yeah.
You said she's singing the national anthem today, huh?
Yeah,
So that NFL game?
Yeah. She's incredible. Yeah, but like, man, it's been just a blast. Like, I can look at her, we'll be laughing and having a good time, and it just keeps you, turned on and going,
Yeah.
So like, yeah, man, the relationships that you build with your bandmates and members is like, and the crew, everybody, man, it's an amazing experience that just super grateful for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with all the success and even talking to like my previous podcast guests, right, who they themselves have gotten to do some cool things in life, without a doubt, one consistent thing I've heard across every podcast is they've gone through an oh shit moment.
Oh shit moment, yeah.
Right? And I'm curious, like when you guys are doing as many concerts as you are, back-to-back nights, can you remember any concerts where you were like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to work out?
In a good way or a bad way?
Like in a bad way, in like a way of like, man, this is, I don't know if we're going to get through this, or I don't know if we're going to make it to the concert, or I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off, or I'm sick and I got to play through this, you know?
We did Glastonbury, huge festival. It's huge. I think I lost my voice and I'm yelling or something. I can't remember what I did. But I remember that we were doing that and and it's like gonna be recorded and I'm like, oh man, what is going on? That was the old shit moment. But you know, you go out there and sing, man, and like.
Did you have fun through it or were you struggling through it?
Oh no, I have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That idea of a challenge is just like fun too. Like, okay, cool, here I am singing, my voice is hoarse. Like,
yeah.
You know.
Let's rise.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did your like desire for that challenge and kind of zest for life come from?
Man, you're born with it. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's a great juxtaposition I've kind of seen in my life is like being quiet and wanting a lot. And then it's like, okay, it's not easy though. So are you going to not do it or are you going to do it? You know, and then I think proving to yourself that you can do it creates that like desire to do it again, you know? Like, I don't know. I love that. I love overcoming challenge, you know?
Right.
Like I said, jumping out of a plane or like riding a motorcycle or doing something that makes you nervous. It's where life is really felt, you know? Like those other aspects, like we just kind of lose what life is until you risk life, you know, and like challenge, despite what the challenge is where you understand and maybe comprehend like, oh, I'm living.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that for me is like life is special, you know, like, and I love to feel like I'm living.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. You're doing it in a big way, man. Congratulations.
You too, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Was your dad like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's crazy, man. He's a bassist. He plays bass for this band, this funk band Cameo, you know, and so like I think being able to see him and like, you know, he turns on stage, you know, and I think that really inspired me too, just to kind of like, I don't know what that is, but that looks like something that I want to experience, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's definitely an inspiration.
Right. And so in terms of kind of where you want to go from here, what does the path forward look like for Brandon Marcel?
Yeah, man, definitely just releasing more music, you know, and yeah, shows and God willing, like everything that, you know, I get to see my brother do, you know, just stepping more into that.
Does he have a Grammy now?
Yeah, for sure.
Couple? One
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You got
one Grammy.
for Gold Diggers, maybe?
No, it was for that song "Bet Ain't Worth a Hand." It was like R&B vocal performance.
Okay.
Yeah, that he won for this song called "Bet Ain't Worth a Hand."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he killed it.
That's amazing. Were you able to be there with them to celebrate that?
I think I was. Yeah, I was. Wasn't at the Grammys, but I was in LA.
Okay.
Sorry, I just can't remember everything, but I know I was there because I think I've been there every time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I get them, and things kind of get jumbled together, you know?
It does, man.
At least you know where you're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
You said back to LA, right?
Yeah, back to LA.
What are you guys going to be doing out there?
We're working on that album, man. It's his fourth album.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what kind of role do you take in helping with that process?
Yeah, I've gotten just recently gotten to write on a few of the songs, and write and do backgrounds and help vocal produce has been a really cool experience.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Seeing a song come to life, to me, is such a powerful thing.
Man, yeah.
Like for anybody who's not been able to experience that, like I highly recommend just like make a friend who's a musician and ask to come watch them put a song together. 'Cause it's a very vulnerable and hard process.
Man, it's incredible.
So I'm curious, like you'll be out in LA for like 12 days.
Yeah.
And what will that look like? Like what's kind of the structure of it all for somebody who maybe doesn't know what a writing, camp or whatever you call it looks like?
Yeah. Well, this time we're just kind of going in to finalize a few songs and finish writing a few. Yeah, what that looks like, man, based off of the last experiences, they have this really cool home in the hills that we're working out of, and we're in there with Tyler Johnson, which is one of the main producers that I was working with for this one, and some other great people. And yeah, just, you know, I don't know, writing and laying melodies and getting the song where it needs to be, producing.
Making magic.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's I'm really grateful to be a part of it. And yeah, like you were saying, it really is like a magical moment, man. Like seeing a song come together is really dope.
Well, I'm curious out of like everything that you've been through, right? And when you think back to it all, what experience do you feel like has shaped you the most, right? Like we've talked about the influence that your dad has had, like getting to travel the world, jumping out of a plane. Like what experience do you kind of like look to as a pivotal moment that's made you the man that you are today?
Man, so that's a really hard question, man. Man, I don't know if this is the right answer, but maybe like just I think you have to make that decision to like believe in yourself,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I think at some point in time that decision crossed my being. And I think since making that decision, it's really changed the way that I think, the way that I move, and who I choose to be every day, how you treat people, what you set as far as limitations, if any, you know. And I think that decision is why I am who I am, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and it's why everybody is who they are, whether that is good or bad,
mm-hmm.
you know. So maybe just that decision to believe, you know, whatever it is you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So make the decision to believe in yourself.
Yeah. Regardless of, because that decision comes with challenge, and you're going to have obstacles that are going to build you into being hopefully a better person, you know? And I think that's, yeah, scoped and have led me to where I am. And like, yeah, like I'm saying, just the way that I think, and, you know, are you going to do something regardless of how you feel about it, you know, discipline and all that, you know, that comes with being great, you know? And so, yeah, just, I think choosing to believe, like,
right.
really made a world of difference for me.
That's great advice, man.
Yeah.
It applies to all of us.
Yeah. That's where everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm glad that we got to meet. I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Back at the Black House in Fort Worth, Texas.
Black House, man. Yeah. That was the spot.
It was a special place, man. There was a certain vibe in the air that night.
It was.
And so I was glad that, you know, you pulled up. You're like, man, what's your energy? You know, you're like, you guys are having a good time.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. And I look over and I'm like, wait, I just saw you performing tonight. You were with Leon.
Yeah,
I was like, let's go.
Yeah, man.
So that was cool.
Yeah, bro.
And then all the hosting at the concerts over the years, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, for sure, though. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, that's meant a lot. So, and thank you for coming on, you know, and showing in and doing some thinking, right? I know it's not always easy to think about some of that stuff. So
yeah,
I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, no worries.
Being vulnerable.
Sure. Yeah.
100%. All right. Thank you, Marcel. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Permission to Shine, the podcast dedicated to sharing the most humble, inspiring stories that I know you will love. Again, this is Andrew Nemani. I appreciate you tuning in. As always, please reach out. Please follow on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple. Leave us your thoughts. Let us know who you want as a future guest or what's your takeaways from this conversation. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great week.